this Bundu devil will come out only on the night that the female initiates have left the bush.
So we can safely say that their emergence only happens in Bakau and Lamen in those days.
No, those were the bushes where where the initiation was performed, and then when it was time for them to come out and join society once more, yes, this masquerade used to perform in the night, throughout the streets of Banjul, moving in a very, very horrible, terrible and frightening way.
Those must have been exciting days.
Very much so, and people followed them, especially we, the younger ones by then, used to follow at a distance and trying to see whether it would bite.
These people were not originally from the Gambia.
No, they came from Sierra Leone. In fact, most of the masquerades that used to, let's say, process through the streets of Banjul during festive occasions were mostly from Sierra Leone, given the fact that those Sierra Leoneans, the Akus, as well as our Wolof brothers and sisters from Senegal, were the first to settle on Bathurst, now called Banjul.
So you think these cultural assets explain our connection with our neighboring African brothers?
Yes, it shows that we came from the same cradle, and that we share the same philosophy, and that we are indivisible, especially when it comes to the cultural practices. Yes, there could be some variances here and there, but I want to assure you that the difference is not fundamental.
Now, how are you working to ensure that some of these assets are preserved?
Well, first of all, I would say that apart from the research work that we are carrying on these masks and masquerades, I must first of all thank His Excellency, the President, Sheikh Professor Alhaji Dr. Yahya AJJ Jammeh, who, if I must dare say, is the first great man, real person interested in bringing together the diverse cultures in this country so as to show the unity that we have in diversity. And one way of promoting, protecting, preserving this culture is through the organization or the organizing of cultural festivals. And through these cultural festivals, first, the Roots Homecoming International Cultural Festival, initiated by His Excellency the President.
Where we saw a lot of masquerades performing live.
Beautiful, and the best time that you can see all this masquerade is during the great Kanilai International Cultural Festival, which lasts for 3 weeks. Imagine one person getting so much interested, being so much sincere to the peaceful coexistence and, of course, the respect and tolerance for one another to organize this thing for 3 weeks. Beautiful. You can see all the masquerades in the Gambia, and they are more than 35. Yes.
Now we have a great number of masquerades in this country, and others have said that each one of these represent a group, a community in the country here.
Yes.
Now this representative element, has been explored in your research. What have you discovered?
What we have discovered is that, such people who have now become Gambians, born Gambians, because, the posterity is here, and children are being born in a mixed society, very cosmopolitan, and they move together. They share these values together. And what we have seen now is that the younger ones who are so interested in these masks and masquerades are emulating after these things have been transmitted to them.
But do they understand their real meaning?
Now, that is the question. Most of them, if I may say, the youth of today, they enjoy it, but they don't understand the real origins and significance of these masks and masquerades. In fact, they have been alloyed, they have been cocktailed, so much so that some elders are getting very much concerned, and they are coming to us to try and see how we can create a forum where the youth and the elders would sit together, and we will look at these masks and masquerades and try to give them that value that they are almost losing, both in terms of the spiritual aspect and the physical appearance.
Now, thank you so much. Now, we have a great many assortments of masquerades here at the museum in the National Center for Arts and Culture. Now, Cornelius, can you just take us about, show us some of the varieties we have here?
Sure.
We're standing before an aku gese. This is a very mesmerizing sort of masquerade, which is adorned beautifully, carrying a charcoal stove on top of its head. It is one of the most symbolic masquerades attached to the Aku tribe here in the Gambia. Mr. Cornelius, how did this come to be in the Gambia?
Well, this beautiful masquerade, Gese, is a combination of the fairy, the makalo, and other typical traditional masquerades that originated from Sierra Leone. Now, this mask, this beautiful masquerade called the Gese, has been introduced into the Gambia. Well, not well introduced into the Gambia, but has developed from another form which existed before. And if I may dare say, the Gese, which is around today, dressed very beautifully, and you know,
Gese of the past.
the Gese of the past. In fact, Gese is very recent. Gese has come up from Makalo and Fairy.
So it was derived, it was actually derived from other masquerades.
From other masquerades. It's a combination, because as society is growing up and as we have a new generation, they come up also with their styles. So much so that today you have both boys and girls joining the same masquerade club and clapping and dancing together. Yes.
Now, we also have a beautiful Agugu portrait here. This shows the Yoruba version of the Agugu.
Yes.
Now, the Yoruba are actually from Nigeria, are in Nigeria.
Yes.
Now, how did this masquerade come to be in the Gambia?
Well, as I said, during the colonial period, especially after the disbanding of the West Africa regiment, our fathers and uncles who had battled for the survival of the British Empire, yes, when they were settled here, you know, it was constituted by Nigerians, Ghanaians, Sierra Leoneans, as well as Gambians, who fought together alongside the British during the war. And when they settled down in the Gambia, of course, the culture was still in them. And when everything went on peacefully, they came up with this beautiful, we used to call it a gugu, but it should be a gungun, which is a gungun.
So
yes.
a gungun is the original term.
Yes, exactly, from our Nigerian brothers and sisters.
Now, this looks like a very flamboyant masquerade for that matter. Dances beautifully.
Very, 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 very common and very popular in Batos. Yes. During the, let's say, could I say, well, I was, yes, I'm not an old man, though I am not a young man. But I know that during the 60s, up to the early 70s, these Egungun masquerades used to perform in the streets of Banjul. But today,
okay, they are very rare to see.
not only rare, but they are no more around. Yes, perhaps the elders, because this also involves a lot of secrecy, a lot of rituals.
A lot of mystery surrounds these assets.
Very characteristic of African culture and tradition, so much so that perhaps the chance to transmit them properly to the younger generation was not made available. And because of the ritualistic and the secretive nature of it, the fear that accompanied it, you know, was so great that finally it died out with those elders. I'm sure that in Nigeria it is still practiced, but the Nigerian society in the Gambia today don't do. No.
Just beside it, we have the fairy devil.
The fairy, yes. The fairy also is associated.
It's quite popular.
Yes, it's associated with